In this video, I'm going to be building a huge battle mech. Let's go. I started off with a simple skeleton for the torso, then moved on to adding the extra details like the pod where the minifigure will go, as well as connection points for the other parts and limbs, along with armor plating for the chest area. Next, I want to focus on bulking up those sides, so I built up some little sections, and I can just place those on the back of the build to give it a little bit more muscle. So I wanted to design this mech where it has two different sections in the torso, the top half and then the bottom half, obviously. And the top half would have the arms and the chest, and then the bottom half would have the leg area. So I'm just armoring that up, and then we can place both the sides together. Now that the main bulk of each section are complete, we can go ahead and place them together using the angled clips. Now that the torso is almost complete, we can work on the back half of the torso, which is just made up with some different plates and wedge plates, and then some nice circular things, which you'll see what'll go there later. And then the head area, which will just be an armored covering with a sort of circular hat sort of thing. Now the back is done, we can go ahead and add it to the rest of the torso. Then I added some really nice shoulder armor to protect the arm joints. And we can't forget about the legs, so we're going to want to protect the leg joints with some nice leg skirt armor, which I just built up using some different tiles and slopes and ball joint connections. And now that the leg armor is done, it can perform the exact same way as the shoulder armor in a joint effort. And there we have it, the completed torso. Let's move on to the limbs now. First, I'm going to make a bulky upper arm, and then I'm going to move on to add the forearm, or the lower arm, and then I will go ahead and add the hand to complete the left arm. And don't worry, we're not going to have a one-armed giant, so let's go ahead and build the left arm. First, I started the exact same as the previous arm, then I added a slightly smaller forearm with a little plus Technic connection. And then into that, I put a giant blaster cannon because, this giant shoots things. With that done, let's move on and connect them. And now we can add these metal twins to their torso. And what is a giant arm blaster cannon for other than to shoot stuff? And for that, they're gonna need a nice big set of ammo tanks. Now we can go ahead and start on the legs. First up, I built up the foot with some different slopes. Yes, I use a lot of slopes. It's just how you build a mech. And I bulked it up with some stuff on the side, and then went ahead and add a cool spur or whatever, which I think turned out really cool. And then I built up a second. So for the bottom half of the leg, I went with a nice ball joint connection to connect to the foot, some different armor elements, and then a small ball joint knee connection, which will look really cool. Then I built up a second one. For the top part of the leg, I built up this skinny little snot brick contraption and then began to bulk it up with some side plating. And just as the rest of the parts, I duplicated it. Now that each element of the leg is done, we can go ahead and add them together to make this humongous robot leg. Now we have two giant sausages with feet, made out of plastic. Then in adding the two legs, the mech is now complete, and we can move on to building the little figure that'll go inside. In case you're wondering, no, the mech and the figure are not from any show, I just built them out of my imagination.